Hi, this is Zach Mayer with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Friday, the 10th of October. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which has been in a rising trend channel, the black channel there from June. We managed to hit that back on Wednesday, the peak there, 95.77. We come back a bit there. Obviously, the excitement wearing off now a bit, but hopefully the 94.20 area will provide support either today or obviously early next week, and that we can then make progress back towards the top of the channel now at 95.80, and then best case scenario target up to as high as 97.70 by the end of the next month, which is a May resistance line projection, and obviously gets us tantalizingly close to the magic 10,000 number, which I suppose still cannot be ruled out for the end of this year. On the downside, if we do break down, then 93.50, the old August September resistance area, the favored area for support to come in. DAX is next, and here you can see that we're still, we're actually at the record high zone, so through 24,500. Still looking for the top of the channel there, 25,700, that channel there from April. Probably looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above the 50-day line, just below 24,000, and that 50-day line, about the worst we're expecting on the downside at the moment. The Dow is next, and here we've had a situation where obviously a decent run, especially with the shutdown issues, etc., etc. We were hoping for this market to stay on the right side of the 46,000 area, which is, I suppose, a bit optimistic, but we do have the 50-day line there, 45,000 or 500 basically, and if there is a rug pull, then that's probably the area we'd be looking for in terms of support. You can also see that even though we've got that wide rising trend channel from May last year showed in red, I suppose this market may be looking at an uptrend line there from back in August around where I've drawn it. And on that basis, then you'd hope that this market would stay on the right side of 46,000, and the RSI would stay in the mid to low 50s, which is just about the right place for an ongoing rally. See the top of the channel there up to 48,000. That's, I suppose, the best case scenario target for the end of next month. Cryptos are next. The first one is Bitcoin, and here dithering a bit after temporarily getting to new highs. Was slightly suspicious when you have a market which just narrowly goes to a record high, whether it's a stock or a market. I think 121, 123, 125, that kind of thing is slightly strange, especially with this market, which is so volatile. Top of the channel here up to 133, which at the moment looks like it would be an end of November target rather than an end of an October target. But at least while we're above 118, we still have the chance of 133 by the end of this month. Best case scenario target either for this month or next month would be the upper parallel of that rising trend channel from February, and that's heading to 150 plus. There is a rug pull, it would be the 50-day line there at 114, which is our favored support point. On to Ethereum, which has rather let the side down in recent days, especially this week. You can see that we were in the upper 4,000s to start the week. We've come back down, still below the 50-day line, even though that's rising just through 44.20 or towards 44.20, and have the risk now of a move down to the floor of the rising trend channel from July, just below the 4,000 handle. Not expecting anything worse than that at this stage. Gold is next, which has continued to impress. Obviously, a bit of a rug pull yesterday. We managed to come back below the 4,000 level. I suppose all the people saying or noting the 4,000 as being a big deal have managed to get the price back down again. 38.60 was the top of the channel there from back in April. That's now around 39.10, and so that is hopefully support for this market. At least while we're above that, looking for a best case scenario target up to 41.70 by the end of this month, in fact, even, although we had penciled that in for the end of November. Moving along to the stocks, and a stock which has had a great time after many years of waiting has been Bezant, and looks as though it's coming back for more as well. RNS today. Basically, this situation here took off beginning of June and haven't really looked back since. Various targets there. The first one 007, the second one 0.12, and above that looking for 0.18. maybe as soon as the end of next month. So let's see if Bezant can step up to the plate. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 0.08, whatever happens now. The disappointing price action over the summer for Eurasia, even with its new listing, etc., etc. Here you can see that we're in this falling trend channel that's been in place since February, but we are back in the range between, let's say, 3p and 5.5 pence, and hoping that at least we could see the shares nudge back up towards the 4 pence zone and the 50-day, rather the 50 and 200-day moving averages over the course of the rest of October. Best case by the end of this month, it would be up to 5 pence at the top of that falling trend channel. And ideally, now we stay on the right side of 3 pence and the right side of RSI 50, which we've just recovered today. Haven't put a foot wrong in terms of the charting at Europa. And here you can see why the shares hitting and exceeding the second rather ambitious target. The first one was around 1.1 pence, second 1.3, and above 1.3, looking for the upper parallel of that second target, which is up to 2.1 pence. Hoping for that by the end of next month. But what a decent turnaround that's been over the recent past. And you can also see an extended uptrend line in the RSI window helping the cause there. Moving along to Ferro alloy, which I thought actually with the recent news it would do rather better than it has, but it seems to be a sort of delayed reaction. Top of the channel here, heading for as high as 17 pence by the end of this month. Now that we're finally taking off, and the more price action we have above 12 pence, the greater the chance of a move to 17 pence by the end of this month, perhaps, but obviously maybe more on a more conservative basis by the end of next month. RSI 50 rebounds over the last week or two, helping underline the breakout scenario. Onto fusion antibodies, which was also called up here near the lows, I think around 7 pence. We have had the pullback after heading towards one of the targets there as high as 21 pence. Didn't quite get there. I think 7, 14 and 21 is what we were looking at. Current situation is we're back at the 14 and looking for 21 or even 22 pence by the end of next month. If you're looking for a trigger here, it would be an end of day close back above the 50-day moving average at 15 pence. Genedrive is next, and I looked at this yesterday, and it seems to be. I looked at it just for private purposes yesterday because that's what I do mostly during the day in my spare time. Here you can see that we're back above the floor of the gap there, 0.26 pence above that, looking for it to fill the gap properly there at 0.52. Best case here by the end of next month up to 0.64. So it does look as though the shares with that bullish, with the uptrend line in the RSI window, bullish divergence. So lower lows for September and October, but higher RSI trace. That is a giveaway in terms of a potential turnaround for the shares. I think the last time we saw something like that, it was Energy Pathways before the recent big announcement. Moving along to Genflow, which seems to be creating immortal dogs and also hitting our target line there, the red one there at just under 2.5 pence. Above that, we're looking for the upper parallel of that broadening triangle from the summer of 2024, heading for 4 pence, hopefully by the end of next month. Ideally now we stay on the right side of September resistance at 2 pence. On to the last two. The first one is Nativo. And here, remember, we had some rather ambitious targets, and we still have rather ambitious targets. But what's interesting here is that we have an uptrend line in the RSI window. We've got the 50-day line rising very sharply at the moment. And we've also got all the recent support points above a rising 50-day line. That tends to be the starting gun or a trigger for a potential decent move to the upside, a large move to the upside. That's how you can know whether there's going to be a small move or a big one. And the target here up to a penny by the end of next month, while we stay above that 50-day moving average, 0.46. So reasonable risk reward there. And you can see the RSI 50 bounces. We've had 4 of those since the latter part of September. So that is about as good as it gets. Director buying and significant director buying at Valereum has got the shares up today. And you can see that there was actually some bullish divergence ahead of all the buying that we've had announced today. So from basically the beginning of the month, A strong candle there on Wednesday and on yesterday, so maybe somebody guessed that there was going to be some director buying, but the top of the falling trend channel there at 8.2 pence. We're looking for that by the end of next month as a best case scenario target, while there's no break back below the floor of the gap today at 3.8 pence. 50-day line rising as well, so all looking good at the moment on Valereum for a change. That's it for me today. More updates over the weekend.